Howdy folks, it's Ethan with Southern Science, and today we're going to do a brief introduction to biology. This is mainly a video for high school students or maybe some entry-level college students that haven't really dipped their toes into this field yet. It's mainly going to be a pretty quick, pretty simple video that just goes over the key points that need to be set in stone before we can talk about the really fun stuff in later videos. Alright, so let's get started. The first question we need to really address is, what is biology? Well, let's take a look at the word itself. We have two roots here, bio and ology. Well, ology is a Latin root meaning the study of. Like theology is the study of religion, or say anthropology is the study of human culture. Well, biology, if you take a look at the other root here, bio means life, or pertaining to life. So when you put these two roots together, we get biology, which quite literally means the study of life. What biologists try to do is determine the nature of nature. I know that's a really poetic way of saying we study living organisms, but I like it because it's not just living organisms we study, it's how living organisms interact with their environment and the world, and it's nature. It's not just living organisms, if that makes any sense. We'll go into more detail with that here in a bit. So, an important thing to understand about biology is that it is an umbrella term. Now, what that means is it's a descriptor for several other subterms. Think of the term video game. There are tons of different video games, right? There's role-playing games, there's first-person shooters, there's tabletop simulator games, that sort of thing. Well, biology is the same way. It's a term for a collection of subfields. And some of the examples of these subfields are like microbiology, which is the study of microorganisms, or say botany, the study of plants, zoology, the study of animals, and so on and so forth. So, what do we know so far? Biology is the study of life, and it's an umbrella term that gets broken down into what type of life you are studying. Now, the next natural question is, what is life? It has a question philosophers have been trying to answer for years. So let me give you the biologist's answer. Life is a title that you get when certain parameters are met. These parameters are met by what we call living organisms and not met by what we call inorganic matter. So a rock would not meet these terms, but a tree or an elephant would. So what are these parameters you have to meet to be alive? Well, first, you have to reproduce. Now this could be sexually, like humans or animals, or it could be asexually, like say a sea sponge or bacterium. You have to be able to create offspring in some form or fashion in order to be considered alive. Next, you have to have something called homeostasis. What that means is you have an internal environment in your body, whether it be a huge multicellular organism or a single cell like, say, a paramecium, has an internal environment that it is constantly regulating to keep within certain parameters. Homeostasis is really the hardest topic to go into, and I plan on making a whole video about it in the future. Next, you have to metallicize. I butchered that spelling. There we go. Now what this means is that you consume energy in order for you to function. For humans, that's eating. For, say, plants, it's photosynthesizing. In order to live, you have to consume energy. Now, these three things here are what I personally call the biological triad. If something can do these three things, I personally consider it living. Now, I've seen some people list up to 5 characteristics living things have, I have seen some people list up to 10, but generally these are the 3 big ones. If you meet these 3, you're generally living. Alright, so say you are officially a living creature. Congratulations. What do we call you? Well, we would call you by your scientific name. Now, I am sure you watching this know what a scientific name is. You might not know the rules of it, but you generally know what it is. It's the crazy word that makes no sense. It's italicized. It has weird capitalization rules and all that fun stuff. Well, I'm going to make it a little simpler for you. So, a scientific name is an animal or plant or any other living organism's name in Latin. Latin, Ethan? Why are we using Latin? No one speaks Latin anymore. Well, that's kind of the point. Say you are an American and you want to talk about this specific type of bacteria to, I don't know, let's say someone from Mongolia. You speak 2 very different languages. So how are you going to converse with this Mongolian that this is the bacteria you want to talk about? Well, you would call it by its scientific name, its Latin name. No one uses Latin, it's a dead language, so the scientists in the scientific community specifically went out of their way to use it as a way of universal communication with one another. Since you are a budding scientist watching this, you essentially have your own secret language now, which is really, really cool. So, let's say you have discovered a new living organism, and we are going to call it, I don't know, Ethanius Ethan. This is how you would write its scientific name. The first word will be capitalized, the second would be not capitalized, and then you would italicize the entire thing. The first name would be its family name, and the second name would be specific to its own species. Alright, so let's go over everything we talked about. Biology is the study of life. It is an umbrella term for all of the different types of life you can study. In order to be living, you must reproduce in some form or another, be it sexual or asexual. You must undergo homeostasis, which is the conservation of your internal environment. And you have to have some form of metabolism. You have to draw energy from your environment in order to function. Living things have scientific names, which are in Latin, and I plan to make a video just about scientific name etiquette later on, but this is just a general overview. So, you have a living thing, you have its scientific name. What exactly do you do with it? What does the study of biology pertain to? What you want to know about this living organism is A, how it functions, what role does it play in the environment? How is it related to other organisms? And any potential societal uses it may have. Now, this last one isn't so much for animals as it is for bacteria or fungi or plants. So, how do you determine how it functions? Well, that's going to be a whole other video in itself, guys. We are going to go deep, deep, deep into physiology here. The role of environment. Well, why is that important? Well, it's kind of like the Lion King, right? You take one little link from the chain and the entire thing collapses, right? When the hyenas killed everything in the Lion King, the entire ecosystem crashed. You want to know what this organism does in its environment to keep the circle of life going in a circle. Its relations to other organisms. This is finding out where it fits on the evolutionary chain. And societal uses, as I said, that's mainly for plants and fungi and bacteria. Could it be used to make, I don't know, alternative fuel? Could it be used to make medicines? Could it be used for any number of experiments or scientific advancements that can help humanity in any way, shape, or form? Now, this is Like I said, just a real general overview. The main reason I even made this video is just to test how I'm going to go about these videos in the future. If you have any ideas for topics we can discuss or any suggestions about specific things you want to cover, please leave them in the comments below, and thank you for watching.